One of the things that I think was necessary for us to do before we did anything else in terms of integration of efforts, best practices is always doing more with less, and everybody's tight in all of the capacities in which they serve in the school district, state department, everyone. But one thing that we have not had the opportunity to do is to sit down and have a collaborative conversation. There have been conversations with you and Dr. Flood, then you and me as coach, and I met you through the micro-credentialing process and cs.org or code.org. But I realized that you had not had the opportunity to talk with the ITFs in the district, and I did not know if those conversations were being had from the Dr. Flood angle with them. So I wanted to use today, when you announced that you were coming in to help us celebrate CSED week, to make a part of that a roundtable conversation, whereas everyone knew what the State Department had to offer, in not just terms of supplies for teachers or support for teacher, but support to the district, how we could just make each other be our best selves. So that's the whole mission and vision behind this conversation.
Okay, so basically I'm going to kind of talk about what the State Department does in our role with computer science specifically. So,
When you come back to the cafeteria, can you bring me something to put in the water to the kitchen? The kitchen didn't have any. Thank you.
just do it so that way you know to edit. Okay, so the vision for us is we are a statewide collective impact in South Carolina that seamlessly incorporates computer science in K-12 and gives all students the tools and agency that they need to thrive in a world driven by technology. And we're going to talk a lot about agency going forward. So my personal coaching vision is I coach to reimagine the world in which we live in. I coach the stakeholders in our state to bring humor, passion, and empathy into a non-traditional experience. Nothing about computer science is traditional. This happens by beginning with the end in mind. What do we actually want this to look like? So I coach people to have them integrate their interest to something that they're interested in, and that we can have an equitable computer science learning experience for all students for real, no matter race, ability, educational background. We're here for CS students for all. So as you guys are here today, I want you to reflect upon your vision for computer science for the Orangeburg County School District. We typically will find that we teach computer science based around these areas. So personal agency, joy, and fulfillment. So we want our students to be able to have the power to work with this, and we want them to be able to experience using that economic workforce and development. We know that we need, in order to expand as a community, we need to have a digital workforce and people that are ready to bring those companies in. Competencies and literacies, we just want them to be able to be active users of technology versus technology using them. Also, school reform and improvement. We want to make our school a better place through the use of technology and computer science. Equity and social justice. Oh, this school has it, but this school doesn't have it. No, we want that for everybody. Technological, social, and scientific innovation. So making Orangeburg a better place and a better host for those ideas, and then citizenship and civic engagement. So what you should be having these conversations when you go back to your schools and to your classrooms is to really reflect upon which one of those really resonates with you. And have those conversations with the key makers or key decision makers in your district. Talk amongst the school board and the superintendent, the associates for curriculum instruction, your CTE leads, your STEM lead, your instructional technology team. And then what can go on from there is we do a program which is called Script, and that's where we bring all the stakeholders together and we come up with a comprehensive plan for computer science in the district that fits and is personalized specifically to the Orangeburg County School District. It is your vision and it is what you decide. And what we look at is we look at the current school district and priorities. We take into account the magnet programs, the CTE programs you have. We have programs in which we do cosmetology. We have hair braiding and computing. We've done barbering and computing where students actually coded out designs in their hair on the computer first before they could actually start putting designs in other people's hair. Obviously, there's also instructional or informational technology programs that can be had. There's 4-unit completers and 3-unit completers, and that's more on the CTE side of getting additional funding by having students in these programs. And also looking at PC repair and gaming as some of the up and coming pathways in computer science in the area based on Denmark Tech and Voorhees University and things like that. So what we kind of want to look at is the industry in Orangeburg that supports that. We want to look at the post-secondary, so think of where the Orangeburg students are going if they're moving on. Looking at what Claflin University does with Dr. Karina Lyles, South Carolina State University and Dr. Swain, and then also looking at Orangeburg Calhoun Tech and the different programs they have with that. So as we go down, I want you to think about some of these potential barriers to implementing CS across the district. We know the main thing is teacher certification. That's the biggest issue that we are seeing across every district, whether it's a Lexington 1 through 5 or Orangeburg 1 or York, whatever it is. The biggest issue is certification. So we look at the schools in Orangeburg County, and these are the schools that are highlighted that have a CS course that goes towards high school graduation, and that graduation requirement, again, beginning with the end in mind, what we have or what we need to do to get that done. And then obviously the ones that are in black and bold, those are the high schools that offer something.
Quick question.
Yes.
I see there's highlight green and there's highlight black. So is there any differentiation between the highlight green and the highlight black?
So the green is they're offering at the middle school level that course, which obviously if that's the case, then the high school that they feed into can be getting more advanced in their computer science offerings. So for example, if a student has already taken the graduation requirement course in their middle school experience, where do they go next? Well, currently, if we look into the Orangeburg County course offerings, that's it. We stop at that graduation level requirement class, and our students are not progressing any further into computer science.
So the feeder schools, correct my terminology where it goes
Yeah.
wrong. So for example, OW, Robert E. Howard feeds into OW.
Mm-hmm.
So because Ms. Carson there offers a course that can be counted towards the graduation requirement, then OW and Robert E. Howard could coordinate something to offer beyond.
Correct.
What is okay?
So if the students at Robert E. Howard successfully pass the course, they could then move on to a course called AP Computer Science Principles, which is it's an advanced placement course, but it really is just fundamentals of computing with a test and a project. With that's how I view it. So there's a lot of opportunities to progress, but right now we are in what we call stuck in the shallow end, in that we are being successful. We are having students pass and experience computer science because of that computer science graduation requirement. However, we're not really allowing them to progress into careers and to experience that because the only thing we are offering is that fundamentals level course.
So going back to the snippet about certification being the barrier, with certification being the barrier and the conversation about best practices, doing more with less, are there any alternate pathways for add-on certification via the State Department that, for example, teachers could possibly, flashback to when I was in school, Miss Belinda Hilliard, who's now an algebra teacher at Lake Marion High School. When she taught me many moons ago, she taught Algebra 2 and she also taught computer science. So is there a pathway via the SDE that would give math teachers, science teachers, or business education teachers an add-on as to where those principals who are able, when they are sitting down to do master scheduling, can say, okay, so and so has this, maybe I can do this, to get a little crafty with their master schedule.
Okay, the first and easiest way to advance is to start with the fundamentals level courses. And the best way to get the add-on and certification for that is through our CSPD week in partnership with CSTA South Carolina and the Citadel STEM Center, which registration will be coming out, or it will already be out as of January 1st. So you should be checking your email as you get back on this, so that way you can get signed up for that. And what that will allow you to do is to teach any teacher that attends this that has a certification and attends that CSPD week in mid-July will then be able or be eligible to teach these fundamental level courses, like fundamentals of web design, fundamentals of programming, or well, I mean that's fundamentals of computing, and then also cybersecurity fundamentals. And so that is the best way, the easiest, quickest way. Like I said, doing less with more point to getting certified. The next opportunity is our micro-credentialing program, which we are in the process of still working on. And right now the applications are closed, and that the teachers are currently working on that, and we're working through getting that approved. But that would be similar to the national board program, in which you would film some videos, write some papers, and then you turn that certification, you turn that in, and then the district or the state would then review that and add on that certification to where you could teach any computer science course. So if, and that's one option. The third option is through the Praxis exam. So you would take, I think it's 5856 is the code for computer science Praxis, and you just take that, you pass that, and you're able to go. And there are a couple of avenues in which we are looking at to get teachers prepared for that exam, because it is a wide overarching exam. So if, let's just say you want to teach networking, you still have to understand programming and object and networking and in different different spectrums of computer science versus just teaching networking. And so that's a barrier that we see, but that we are trying to eliminate by offering support courses through different avenues with that.
How about financial? How about funding, like for teachers to attend that conference, that week-long PD?
Okay, so the great news about the funding, it's free. This is, as of right now, this is the last year that it is being supported, but we are working to continue to grow that and to look at other avenues with that. So that is a free professional development that's supported. All that really is required of it is that you are committing to offer that course and to teach that course that year for that teacher to attend with that. So that's the only requirement that we ask for that professional development in July. And to add on to that, it's not just your CTE business teacher, K-8 or 9-12 teacher. We're talking about K-12, the elementary teacher who is getting a little, I want to do something with the Lego robots. I want to learn something. Like, this is your chance to spice it up. The middle school teacher who is having trouble reaching the students on certain subjects and certain content. Well, this is a way to integrate computer science and your subjects to garner more interest with that. And technology integration is a very important part with what we do with computer science.
In your notes that you've displayed, I see that you have, and I say State of the Union because we're getting close to January, and I think our superintendent is doing his State of the Union address. So I see you kind of have like some data points that are pretty much a State of the Union for where we are with CS implementation. If you don't mind kind of telling us about what you have here. Because I see you have some things itemized.
Yes, so and what we're seeing right now is in Power School, there are 62 sections of computer science across the district that are being offered that are recorded by Power School. There are 1,716 students enrolled in computer science. If I am not mistaken, that's about 10,000 students in the Orangeburg County School District. That's about, what, 7%, if my math suits me right? Yeah. 7% of our students are in computer science right now here. With that, eventually we need to get 100%. Well, obviously, all those students will have gone through because they have, in order to graduate, and that's the goal, is they have to go through that computer science course. But fundamentals of computing is the only class that is being offered right now with that.
And this is not taking into account dual enrollment opportunities offered via OCTAG.
Yes, those are the ones that are being offered. That actually is included in there, but in those things there are only 1, 2, or 3 students enrolled in those, and that's where you actually get more of the sections that are up with that. That's where we kind of we're in that, like I said, stuck in the deep in the shallow end there with that.
Okay, so I see where we have opportunities for growth, creating pathways, and creating equity amongst the regions in the East, the Central, and the West. I know that's been a big push from our leadership, making sure that we have that in place, and having, which is hard for everybody right now, a dedicated computer science staff, because we're just short everywhere, always, right? And that's kind of the attitude that I took in terms of being the SLIT in this building, just jumping in, because we don't have, and don't have the capability of having at this particular time a dedicated CS person. So whereas I could step in and team teach and integrate some things there, or do things to introduce our students to, and as an SLIT, and I was speaking with Ms. Looper in our last, we have periodic team powwows, I call them, and where we were talking about club days when we form clubs. Edisto Elementary now has Girls Who Code, and using those as opportunities, whereas we can't expand the entire course, but people like me, and those teachers who just want to do something different, they're at that point in their career where they need something to push them into something else, looking at those avenues. So as I've referenced before, on 117 we have 4 or 5 sessions, is it? Would you like to explain each of those sessions, the target audience, so that we can share with our colleagues before it closes on next week, if they haven't already signed up, look at what you guys are offering, so when we come back to the table again, we can be familiar with the menu of services that the State Department has.
Okay, so going off the list that I have here, we've got Administrative Computer Science 101. So this is for administrators to come in, sit, and see what does computer science look like, what can it do for your classroom and your school, and how it affects, how it could potentially affect data points. And as far as instructional benefit, like in math and reading, we have seen some early progress with some schools that actually do full-scale computer science integration in the elementary space, improvement in their reading and mathematic test scores with that. So we want to just get administrators aware of what computer science is, how it works, what are the courses, what's some of the language and terminology that's being used, and computer science isn't just teaching somebody about this website's good, this website's bad. There's a lot of different avenues of computer science to go through. There's even standards that we have to follow through, and just being aware of what those are, and being able to look at those. The next is for our guidance department, and that's to know the again, the pathway construction that we could have, the different courses that we can offer, setting up a pattern from the middle school experience up to high school, because, and even once you have what's set in middle school, then you can push down into elementary what you want to be taught to get them up to that level, and then in high school you can grow it out. So middle school is a key important demographic that we need to have, and so obviously guidance counselors, especially in that 6 to 12 space, are very important because they develop the IGPs, and they are the motor that keeps it running, and helps decide where these students are going to go to. So having them understand computer science is a very important process. We'll then look into the computer science coaching toolkit, and with the computer science coaching toolkit, I will say that this is for instructional leaders, leaders in the building that want to go out and help grow computer science, or have to work with the standards. So that use our digital literacy standards and use those things, and so it's more for an instructional lead, I would say, with that, to take these tools for when they are in a coaching situation, to, hey, have you tried this type of thing? Or it's to really give teachers that sense of agency, and that they don't necessarily always need that instructional technology person that, I can work with you for a couple months and get you to be confident, and then I can go on to the next person that needs. And that's what the toolkit is designed, is to give those teachers agency, and to help build their own skills with that. We'll then look into computational thinking for kindergarten to 5th grade. So these are things that you're already doing in your classroom. We're just going to put some computational thinking language into it. So when we talk about like decomposition in math, that's a computational thinking skill. When we talk about abstraction and those different things, and just taking those activities that you do on a daily basis and switching them into language. So like your procedures for entering and exiting the classroom, that's an algorithm. And just using that language with that. The next thing is our loaner program introduction. So that's where I would talk about the different loaner program items that we have. We have Lego kits, we have Sphero robots and Ozobots that we can bring to your classroom for a 3-week period, and you can either have us do a lesson with you on it. You can just take them and explore as you want, or we can come up with a complex 3-week plan for you. And the last thing that we are looking to do is integrate into the our middle school space mathematics, which we are. I'm actually meeting with Florida State University next week on some different activities and things that they are doing regarding computer science into mathematics in the middle school space, because what we are realizing is we can't get enough certified computer science middle school teachers, but if we can get them to integrate into subjects like math and and find those little opportunities and niches, we can grow that. And we feel that math is a great spot with a lot of connectivity in that middle school space to do that. So that's what we're looking for on January 17th in our sessions.
Awesome. Any questions from anybody in the room? Well, we love to have you. We love having you here today, and thank you very much for all that you have done and will do for the Orangeburg County School District. It's much needed, and it's refreshing to know that we have that support at the state level for all of the things that we need and want to do here. Specifically, I had to start on that.